What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dugout Talk.
Stealing home.
Oh my
Watch
goodness,
out.
I was home steal
Say, we
attempt
did
and
it.
a
We stole
wild
home.
pitch.
That doesn't happen
Hey,
too often, folks. But T-Mac McAllister.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dugout Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Tris McAllister, and joining me are the other two hosts, current minor leaguer with the Red Sox, Cooper Adams, and then college hitting coach, Jason Kramer. He's at Gettysburg College. And for you guys that are new to the channel, we were D1 teammates at a small school in Maryland, and now we're trying to bring entertainment and knowledge about the game to you. So welcome. But today is a special day because we have a special guest. He is literally the definition of wake and rake. And last year, he led the ACC in triples, led UNC in doubles and walks, was named to ACC All-Tournament team, won a Super Regional, played in the College World Series out in Omaha, and they got drafted in the 10th round by the Seattle Mariners. So Anthony Donofrio, baby. What's up, Donof?
How we doing, boys? Thank you for having me on, man. Excited to talk.
Absolutely. We're super excited. So, Kramer and Coop, do you guys have anything to say to him before get this started?
No,
Okay.
I mean he'll probably tell us all about it either way. So
Exactly. I want
Yeah.
to let him tell him his story. I don't want to
I like
interrupt anything.
We're going to let this be the Knopf show. Obviously, that's why we're having him here. Knopf and I actually got to meet up in the NECBL, but I actually knew about him because my roommate from Charleston was at Quinnipiac, and he talks about this crazy story, how this guy shows up in Converse with a wood bat and like shorts and a t-shirt to try out at Quinnipiac after a bunch of emails to the head coach. And he said the kid's an absolute stud. And then Knopf ended up coming late to Mystic when I was playing up there. And as soon as he walked in, I instantly knew. They were like, the outfitters coming from Quinnipiac, and I was like, I know exactly who this kid is. So stud. So great story. So kind of what I want you to.
Then we
What?
ended up living together.
Yeah, then we did live together.
Yeah.
Which was the host family was fantastic, weren't they?
Oh, they were great. They
Two
were great.
doctors, super nice house.
Rarely
Wow.
there, so we had the whole. It was a pretty nice house
Thank
too, multi-million-dollar house. Had the whole thing to ourselves. It was awesome.
Drinks in the fridge whenever snacks. She was making goods in the morning.
Oh.
It was awesome.
Oh, it was great.
Another thing was big league in it was I remember Knopf telling me, I wanted to go on vacation so bad. And Knopf's like, dude, just do it. Like, you don't owe anybody anything. Just go if you need to. I'm like, okay. So I went. And then I remember when I was on vacation, it was the NECBL All-Star game. And Knopf's like, yeah, I'm just going to leave, but I'm going to play the All-Star game first. Then I'm going to tell him. So he goes over to Martha's Vineyard, plays the All-Star game. On the bus back, he goes up to the coach and says, hey, by the way, I just want to let you know this is the last game. So if you need some courage.
So we'll see you. Needed some family time. Had to do it. I'm sorry, this is the last game. Yeah, I'm done.
If you need courage from somebody, you should take it from Knopf. So, but a little bit, obviously, Knopf, like, really cool story. Obviously, Sunny Cortland, committed to West Virginia out of high school, correct? Then you go to Sunny Cortland, and then the Quinnipiac story, and then to UNC for the grad year, then drafted, obviously. Can you kind of just talk about, each step and what led to one another?
Yeah, of course, and give you the whole rundown. But first, T, I thought of you today. Before you texted me, I went fishing this morning for some striped bass because they're running off Long Island. And I look in my closet for for a couple of my sweatshirts. Sure as enough, all gone. None of them, can't find any of them. And I'm looking for my red one. And I was like, T's got it. Like, the guy,
I do have it.
It's been years, still don't have it. But
Sitting in my closet. Sounds
it's
like
yours.
me.
It's yours. Take it. It's yours.
Appreciate
But
it.
yeah, to get in the ball, I wasn't that heavily recruited out of high school. Did a couple of perfect game showcases to get some good exposure. And I ended up having a preferred walk-on spot at West Virginia. They didn't give any money. They don't give any money to any out-of-staters. I guess that's just how Randy Macy, when he was there, ran it. And I was in a tough spot because it was like 2 weeks before I was supposed to go to school. And this is 2018, my senior year of high school. And I basically had to talk to my pops. So I was like, we can't afford it. Like, it's not going to happen. And I ended up going the financially suitable route for my family. Went to a Division III school, upstate New York. Enjoyed my time there. I was there for 2 years. Got less than 30 at bats, but I loved playing with that team. D3 baseball is gritty. It's a grind. Like, you got to want to show up every day, otherwise you're going to be miserable. And they made that atmosphere really fun to play in. However, felt like I wasn't pushing myself, athletically or academically to the extent I thought I could be. And I said, I got to get out of here. Also, had some family things going on, so I moved back home, went to Stony Brook on Long Island, and there I did everything I possibly could to get in front of the coach, go talk to him, be face to face, send him countless emails, phone calls. I finally went there one day, and he basically just told me, like, you're not good enough to play here. We're not going to give you an opportunity, and sent me a follow-up email afterward, like, you're not going to get a chance to try out. And, in life, all you really need is an opportunity. And to be there in that situation that worked great for me, family-wise, academically, baseball-wise, and just have it just not go your way, it's a tough pill to swallow. And at that point in time, I was like, all right, I'm not going to let this guy define me. Like, what does he know? So I got to work. I started doing 2 days in the gym, worked my balls off. I joined a summer league at the end of the year, and sorry, I got an update. But I joined a summer league. It was like a blue chip prospect league on Long Island, nothing too crazy. And I hit really well there. Pretty much emailed every single college coach I could possibly think of. A couple came back to me, but nothing really with serious traction, wanting me to come there, go on visits, really talking to me. And I got an email from Quinnipiac, or actually I emailed them, and I got a response from the head coach, John Delaney. And I was like, listen, man, like, I'm in a tough spot. This is perfect for me. It's 2 hours from my home. Like, you play Division I baseball. It's a good brand of ball, and just give me an opportunity to come play out. And he was like, you know what? Listen, we'll give you a shot. And originally it was tough because I had a fee, like, I had to go through an NCAA fee waiver because academically I wasn't eligible to play. So my entire fall when I was at Quinnipiac, the NCAA could have got back to me and said, you're ineligible, and I probably would have never played the game of baseball again, which the fact that they hold that power in their hands is concerning. However, I'm grateful. The good Lord has been good to me, and they gave me a chance. I had 2 really great years there. I was close to an All-American my senior year. And then the draft, I was sitting on the couch with my family, thought it was going to go my way. And sometimes that's just how it goes. And I said, you know what? All right, okay. They don't think I'm good enough this year. Back to work. Let's do it again. And that's what I did. Got back to work, put my head down, said, all right, let's do it again. Been here before. They don't think I'm good enough. All right, I'll show them I am. And then I did a lot of soul searching, was trying to find myself, really got back into my faith. And then I decided it would be a great idea to just, hop in the portal and see what traction I could get. And it was cool to be a kid who had never got an offer from any big school. And then, boom, all of a sudden, like Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Florida, like all these crazy schools that as a kid you want to play at. Just being able to hear from them was honestly unreal. And then I found that I don't care about all these fancy facilities. I don't care about, like internally, obviously, in terms of personnel, that's all I really care about. Like, I'm a people person. Like, building interpersonal relationships is more value to me than anything. And I was like on the phone with a lot of these schools, and nobody really stood out until Carolina was like, we're going to come watch you play. Everyone was like, all right, come on down here. We'll fly you out. We'll show you the fancy, nicks and knacks. Come on, we'll bring you on a campus tour. I don't care about that. Like, I could build a relationship with somebody over the phone. And the coaches at Carolina, Coach Gaines and Coach Forbes and Coach Weirs, they came down to come see me, took me out to some Mexican joint, was like, we're the guy, or you're the guy, we want you. Why don't you come play Carolina? And I'm grateful I had that opportunity because right then and there after that dinner, I said, they have a family-like atmosphere. I'm going to buy into their program ideologies, and I just fell in love. And then actually the first day I saw the facilities was my first day on campus. So just to have the opportunity to play at the University of North Carolina is something I'll never forget. And, the relationships I still have to this day. And we got to go to Omaha, which is every college baseball player's dream. Like, to be in that
Absolutely.
field and that atmosphere. I like the regional a little bit better, that super regional atmosphere, because you've got 5,500 diehard Tar Heel faithful, like right on you in that stadium, that were just so loud. I think the ticket price for that game was like $300 a ticket, which is cool in college to get in there.
It's awesome.
But
Yeah. So how was going out to Omaha and that experience and stuff like that? Did you guys go out a lot? Like when you guys were out there, experience like?
We went to a few steakhouses. Coach Forbes, the head coach of North Carolina, he was big on that. He was like, "All right, boys, like you made it here. We're gonna go treat you." Obviously, there's still work to do, but we'll go out to eat. And there was a few really nice steakhouses that we ended up going to. But it hailed one day too. That was interesting. I was like, "All right, this is Midwest weather now." But
yeah.
Then,
so what about
going from North Carolina to Omaha is definitely different, even if it is in the summer.
Oh my gosh,
summer or spring.
Yeah.
Was it? I can't remember. I remember watching the regional games and stuff, but was it? I remember the close game that you guys almost lost to LIU, right? And then you guys walk them off.
One of the most insane baseball games I've ever been a part of. So
and against LIU,
we were down 3 runs in the 9th. And Poston gives up a 3-run jack. But that team, there was something really special about it. Like, we were resilient. We were never out of any game. Like, at that point, everyone looked at each other and was like, okay, all right, new challenge. Like, we get it. Like, this is a tough road to overcome, but we're going to do it. And scraped together a few hits, a walk or two. And then we were in a position to tie the game. And, we did it. And we ended up... Yeah. That was a crazy regional atmosphere too. Like the LSU games, those were sick. Yep. I think there was like 3 or 4 come from behind wins to get us to Omaha, and a few walk-offs mixed in there. Man, was that incredible.
Well, no easy challenge too, because like LSU was super hot at that time. Because like you thought at one point they weren't even going to make like the tournament, and then all of a sudden did they win the SEC tournament? I can't remember, or came close to it.
They came close. I think.
Came close.
They came close.
But like they totally turned it around and then get placed obviously like in your regional, and then 2 close games with them, right?
Oh my gosh, we walked it off in the 11th, the top of the 11th. Alex Madera, hardliner up the middle, scores a runner from third. And we go up, I think it was, I don't remember the score, but that moment was unbelievable. And we ended up, winning that series. And
yeah. One thing
I remember watching it on wheels after. I was sitting there, I'm like, man, this game was crazy, but I don't think I had a chance to fully watch it. Oh. And that was literally the first thing I did the next morning was go on wheels and watch the game. It was crazy.
My guilty pleasure is just watching old Wheels videos. I love it.
Oh my gosh, it's the best.
Dude, remember when you'd have a sick opener and you'd play like a crazy big school? Like when I was at Quinnipiac, we played NC State, and that Wheels video came out, and man, did I watch it at least 15 times. I feel like we've all been there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the cool thing too is I pulled up on YouTube the other day, and I remember you showed me when we were roommates up there, your brother making your highlight tapes, and I think he made another one, and it popped up on my YouTube.
He did. He's really tech savvy, and he follows every game, so it was awesome to have him make another one.
Heck yeah. I think the cool thing about it all is I just remember being roommates, like we're thinking you're talking to the White Sox at that time. And I remember asking me, like, do you think you got a chance to go and stuff like that? And I remember I was like, just text him, like, just see. And he texts the scout, and he's like, I can just put your name up there, but like that's all I can do. Like, it's the higher ups. And I think, honestly, like you said, all you needed was the opportunity. Like, you talk about Stonebrook. All you needed was the opportunity for someone to believe in you at a bigger school. Because sometimes, like, people think, oh, you're a little older. It's at Quinnipiac. Like, who knows? And then, like, but to me, like, I always knew it. I'm sure Kramer and Cooper obviously like playing against you, at Quinnipiac when we're at the Mount, but it's like we knew that, like you were talented enough. It was just like for someone to believe in you, and then obviously going to UNC was really cool because then finally someone believed in you, and you just got to prove yourself. So
you crushed me. You crushed me.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, in life, all you need is an opportunity, a chance to show your worth. And I'm grateful I got the chance to do that at Quinnipiac, at Carolina, and now for the Mariners.
Yep. Just make it to the bigs, baby. We'll be there.
What was it like going from like the Mount to the ACC? Because like the MAC is like a gritty conference. Like, I mean, you played on that field before it got turfed, and like, I mean, it was a rough field, and like the facility is just not like the same at all.
People are not very fond of Bobcat Field. Oh, I love it. I loved it. The turf now is really nice, but there's some gritty aspects of that. There was a home field advantage. I think we took the series against you guys just because.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was a dusty field. Now they turfed it, so the new players are a little spoiled. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I remember the little hill up there, and like I remember Brady like going to get a fly ball in right field and just like tripping on the way up.
To be honest with you, I'm glad that's gone. That could go.
Yeah.
That one was bad.
Speaking of you guys taking the series, when we had got back, remember how upset our coach was? We just weren't playing very good at the time or something. We were close to a playoff race. We go up there. You guys win the series 2-1, but it felt like we got our butts kicked. And Jared Zimbardo, he's at Notre Dame, obviously now, one of the boys. But he goes and tries to rob a home run in right field. No, it's like nowhere close, but he's just jumping up on the fence, kind of like whatever. But our coach thought he was playing like so hard, and we need to play like that.
And he loved it.
Dude, he literally made us run the 9-position drill. The guys were like throwing up the next week. We're like, we didn't get a practice plan the next day, and we're like, oh, this is not good.
It's bad. It's a bad day when you don't get a practice plan.
I forget what your guys' coach said, but it was so funny. You guys remember? I don't know. He said something when he tried to go up and rob it and was like, we need that. We need more of that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was.
Something like that. Yep.
He's like, you see him out there? I need 9 of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, just like knowing Jared and stuff like that, obviously, it's just like, I mean, he just jumped up on the fence.
He's saying, in my perspective is I was in the dugout, I'm done with the day, and you hear that, and I was like, damn, everybody else on the other team just heard that. Just sitting there going, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Demoralizing, but
it's cool.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously now, like, Mariners, I obviously remember playing with Jakonski up in Mystic and stuff like that. I remember talking to him about the hitting at UNC, where he was just talking about being in a good position and kind of ready to hit and stuff like that. Was that the same philosophy when you got down there?
So I could talk hitting for hours. I love this. But Coach Weirs has a really great idea of hitting, the fundamentals, but he also lets you be like the player you want to be. And he'll give you some sort of, obviously, player plan, but then you can talk with him and arrange what you guys want to do together. And for me, my biggest philosophies are timing, vision, comfortability, and aggressiveness at the plate. If I can master all 4 of those, I know I'm in a good spot, good headspace. Obviously, the mental game is probably the biggest aspect of hitting because you've got guys, especially now, my first pro ball at bat, I faced a guy who was 103 with ride and run, and I was like, all right, welcome to the show. We saw really good relievers in the ACC, but you get really good starters as well, running it up that high, but you didn't have a guy maintaining 103 miles an hour through 7 innings. So that was definitely new. But I think what really made us good at Carolina was you can have a lot of individual players with a ton of talent, which we had, Vance Honeycutt, Casey Cook, Parks Harbor, I can go on. But to really buy in and go, Casey Cook would either hit a single or maybe had a bad at bat and struck out. The information that was next batter, he immediately flushed whatever that previous at bat was and just feeding the guy behind him, quality information about the pitch shapes and the pitch types. You don't really get that as much in pro ball, but to have that information just so readily available and them being so willing to give it my teammates to give it is why we were so successful in clutch situations and throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now, what is
Yeah.
What do you think now is with the Mariners and stuff? What do they teach? Is it different per level or?
So I mean, similar to Carolina's philosophy, except in different wording, it's dominate the zone. So being on time for a fastball, 3-4-5, hard at the plate. And then in terms of pitch selection, if you have that philosophy, you're not going to swing at a ball 7-1, which is on the black. But if you're thinking 3-4-5, maybe he dots one, and you foul it off with 2 strikes, but you never want to expand the zone. So really having a lot of success on what you can control and being on time for his best fastball at the heart of the plate.
Now,
Hey, I got a question for him real quick. Because I know with the Red Sox, a lot of us, our training method is to continually, obviously, build up. A lot of the hitters, they do a lot of, velo bat training, stuff like that. What's kind of the training method that you guys do with the Mariners? Is it just like, hey, go out there and ball, or do they do some specific training with you?
No, I mean, that's a great question. I just got back from Arizona last week, and they literally brought us out for a few days just so they ingrained in our head our off-season hitting mentality. And for me, I'm doing split stance, single hand, just a lot of drills that I'm supposed to work on. Primarily, they want us hitting. We can't hit off the traject, but I'm sure you're familiar with what the traject is. It's like a $600,000 pitching machine, and you could throw
Expensive.
Paul Skeens on the mound. I know we're going to talk about him in a bit. You could throw Paul Skeens on the mound, and you can hit off of a lifelike hologram version of him, which I liked doing when I was there. But now that I'm home, I hit a lot of velo machine, and I haven't hit it as much breakers, but our philosophy is spit on those pitches and dominate the zone by hitting a fastball and being on time for it. So I'm really buying into that, and hopefully, God willing, I'll have a lot of success this year with it. But
So with with obviously the off season is right now, what are some of the things that you're working on in the off season to get ready for spring training next year?
Yeah, for me, my size is something I really got to work on, so I got to get back in the weight room, which I've been doing. But I really want to hone in on hitting. Like, the better arms you see, the better you have to be. You have to be more disciplined. And what they teach, again, going off of the philosophy thing again, is really buying into who you are. So, maybe I'll run into a few balls, hit a couple homers, but that's not my identity as a hitter. And the Mariners, the way they value you is, one, how you dominate the zone again. So swing productivity, and that's categorized into damage and contact. Now, damage, the way they see it, it's how you get on second base. So it's not necessarily a home run. It could be it's how you either see 4 good pitches, walk, get over to second by stealing it. And for me, that's my game. I get on first, I see good pitches, I steal bags. So in terms of doing damage in the Mariners organization through their lens, I have a lot of success by getting on first, swiping second, manufacturing baseball runs for my team. And they want us to buy into that philosophy.
Yeah, I think probably organizations, that's the best thing, especially at the pro level. Like at the college, guys kind of come there and this is how we do it and this kind of thing. But when you get to the pro level, obviously, Coop, you can touch on this too. It's it's your career. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who tells you what. It doesn't matter if it's the director of pitching, director of hitting, if it's the, A-ball coach, AAA coach. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they can feed you this information. You can take whatever you want from it. But at the end of the day, either you play well enough and they'll keep you, or you don't and they'll let you go. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
100%. Well, and it's interesting to hear your perspective on obviously what they evaluate you on, because I know it's completely different with the Red Sox. A lot of the guys get obviously evaluated on some of the numbers and stuff like that, but they really, I know from having guys that kind of in your similar build, more guys that kind of gap to gap, get on base, swipe a couple bags, not hitting 15, 20 home runs a year, not even probably hitting double digits a year. Not saying that you can't do that, but
No, yeah.
It gets to the point where for them, it's all they want is for them to get more barrels and for them to be able to hit more home runs. Where there's certain guys, in my opinion, I looked at and I was like, if this dude stopped focusing on trying to hit home runs every single time, focused on getting on base, he'd probably have a lot more success. So It's interesting to hear from, organization to organization, the viewpoints on even just the how we get evaluated. But I think that's huge, really, really big for you guys in the Mariners.
Cooper, I got a question. I actually love to hear this because organizationally, everyone runs it different, and I don't know how Boston does it, but I would love to learn. How do you guys approach hitting? Like, what's your main fundamental philosophy? Like,
I'm trying to think fully, because obviously I wasn't in all the hitters meetings and everything like that, but a lot of it was just it was barrels. It was just barrels. Like, get as many barrels as you possibly can. We're chasing like, getting exit velo up, getting more barrels. Like, they obviously, care about some of the singles and stuff like that, but they really want you to get to the point where you're just absolutely barreling balls. And it's hard because obviously barreling baseballs is very difficult. So you definitely run into some issues, but at least from my perspective, from what I've seen them do, a lot of it is just focusing on obviously getting stronger, a lot of velo bat training, and just trying to chase as many barrels as they possibly can. There probably is a bunch of other stuff that I'm missing because I'm obviously not in there every day with them, but at least from what I remember with a lot of the stuff that the hitters did, it was a lot of chasing barrels.
Yeah. Elevate and celebrate, baby.
Yep, on, that's it. That's it.
We got to do.
The good thing is, the more barrels that you get in any level, you're probably gonna have a good career. So the Red Sox are doing a good job. Yeah. If I would have had a lot more barrels in my career, I probably could have had a better carear.
I don't know, T. You rigged.
Probably
300 hitter, baby. Head. Come on.
Yeah.
323. Don't sell me short. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not going to sell you shorts. Oh my lord,
dude. The back is not easy to hit in either. It's not because you're not getting that from a pitching perspective. They're probably giving you a ball and a half off. You're not getting that.
Lost him for a quick sec.
I've never
had the same thing the other day.
Never got a notification like that before. It just said iPhone's overheating. I don't even know how that happens.
So you obviously talked about your guys' approach is trying to obviously hit the fastball, get the fastball, hit it, right? I know with us as in the Red Sox, they are leaning towards basically throwing as many off-speed pitches as you possibly can. So would your guys' like, especially your approach, if you get a team that is just primarily off-speed, no matter the count, obviously that probably changes the approach, but what would you think in that situation as a hitter?
I mean, that's where I'd say as an organization, we trust the numbers. So before every game, my 30-game clip in A-ball after getting drafted, every single game, similar to college, like you have a decent understanding as to who's on the mound, what do they throw, what are their shapes, and then there's like a percentage with all that, right? So if he's throwing heavy breakers, like I'm probably not going to be, sitting fastball the whole time. Maybe if he's dominant slider with 2 strikes, like, I'm definitely thinking that in the back of my head. And maybe like what I love about baseball, it's, it's constantly changing, you're constantly adapting. Like if I get into the box and you spin me 3 consecutive breaking balls, 1's in the dirt, 2 for strikes, and like I swing and miss at 2 of them, likelihood is you're probably getting another, and I'm gonna strike out on 4 breaking balls. So, but I feel like it's very relative, given the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But so
it's definitely interesting.
If you guys face each other, then Coop throw off speed and Knopf look off speed.
No, I know.
I don't even think we will face each other ever, unless we make it to the league. Yeah, big leagues.
Yeah, make it to the bigs. It's simple.
We get traded.
Yeah,
we either get traded or big leagues, baby. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, but one day
that's a goal for me, is to face Donofrio.
Yeah,
I like that, dude. So
one day, baby. Oh yeah.
Sticking to the pitchers like Coop and stuff. The one of the training topics was Paul Skeens winning Rookie of the Year. and his emotionless reaction to winning it.
Yeah.
And he just acted like he just kind of was just another participation trophy for him, really.
Yeah.
So I just want to get you guys kind of thoughts on that and what are your takeaways on that.
Definitely big leagued it for sure. When they asked him, obviously, what does this mean to you? And he's like, "This is cool." It's like, okay, just won Rookie of the Year, which is super cool. And then it is. He was right. It is super cool, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe obviously it doesn't mean more than that. But if I won Rookie of the Year, I would be stoked about it.
Definitely.
But what do you think?
Definitely showing some enthusiasm there, but
Cool. Pitcher, let's say you go win NL Rookie of the Year this year, and someone asks you, what does it mean to you? Like, is it just this is cool?
No, I'd probably be in tears, to be honest. That's a big moment. But it is interesting because I feel like, it's weird to see a guy like Paul Skeens, because it seems like he's just doing everything. And I know he kind of wants more, and I know for him, he probably wants to win. So having it where, he wins Rookie of the Year, I think that's cool. I think he also just really, really, really cares about like winning in general. So he probably just cares more about winning in Pittsburgh. But I don't know. Personally, for me, I'd be going crazy. I know. So I actually saw on Trey Morgan's story yesterday. I was talking to him about it, and he was going bananas, and he's posted pictures with Paul, and Paul just looks emotionless the entire time. So just the other guys around him, I guess, were bringing the energy for him.
Yeah, maybe it's the Air Force thing.
I feel like it's more like he expects it out of himself. Like he just expects to be great, and he just like he's such a high, like has such a high standard for himself that he gets it, and it's like, okay, like I know I can do that. Like what's next? So
yeah,
that's just me personally.
I think he's just getting comfortable with these accolades. Like, think about the historic, 512-day span that Paul Skeens has had in baseball.
Oh,
yeah.
College World Series champion, first overall pick, rookie season All-Star. Now this.
It's starting the All-Star game.
Yep.
I mean, he's just raking in the accolades, and I think he's used to it, like you just said. Like, he knows he's going to get it, and,
I fully agree. I feel like he's definitely after that, obviously, bringing a championship to Pittsburgh. But I could see him in the running for an MVP in the next couple of years. And I know that's probably what he expects out of himself, too.
I heard the craziest thing about Paul Skeens the other day, and I heard it from the best source possible. His assistant coach at Air Force. So CJ Gilman is our head hitting coordinator in the Mariners. And I was in the cage and I was talking to him, and I was like, because I have a buddy, this kid Sam Kulasingam I played with, and I was like, Sammy, one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet. What was Skeens like? And he goes, I actually, recruited him as a catcher. And then his arm was so good, he got on the mound. And I had no idea that actually happened. I found the guy who recruited Paul Skeens didn't recruit him for pitching. He was a catcher. And they brought him on to Air Force, and then they saw the can of an arm he has, and then they got him on the mound.
Yeah. So, I think he hit over 300 with 15 pumps at Air Force.
It was one of the best two ways in college.
Absolutely.
Dude's just great at baseball. He's just ungodly at baseball. It's crazy.
Sam's, we won't touch on it too much, but Sam is another great kid, obviously, that played in Newport that summer. Do you remember him, Kramer? Obviously, Knopf does. He's a switch hitting. I remember Knopf, I think you were there by then. We go to Newport. He comes up on the left side, first AB, bomb. Comes up right side, next AB, third, fourth inning, bomb. I'm like, holy crap, who's this kid?
Watching him practice, not even play, was just so fun to watch because he was just so effortless and committed to his plan. Everyone, if you go, that field in Newport, fences close to 300 all around. You want to hit pumps in BP. You're going to let it eat up a little bit. Not Sammy. He would get up both sides of the plate, and just pepper hard line drives with the most effortless swing you could possibly imagine. He was one hell of a player and still is.
I remember talking to him about approach when we were eating dinner after one of the games. And you're just talking about see the heater up just so he doesn't chase the off speed down and stuff like that. Real good. Is he playing pro ball now? Do you know? Because I know he got drafted. But
he got drafted by the Rockies. Or not the Rockies, the Royals, Kansas City.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh,
good.
Nice.
Nice. Good for him. So next question for returning topics. Do you think, Kupanoff, obviously, do you think that it's easier to be a pitcher or a hitter at the pro level?
That's it's tough, but I personally, I just think hitting a baseball might be one of the hardest things to do just in sports in general. Yep. So I think obviously the pitchers have the advantage, because most pitchers succeed more than they fail. Obviously you get a bunch of hitters together and they can smack one guy, but I don't know. I really, really think that pitching is definitely easier. But it's still very hard, but hitting a baseball is unbelievably hard. I don't know how you do it, to be honest.
I don't know either, man. But I feel like everyone's heard the saying, like, you can go 3 for 10 and be a Hall of Famer. Like, it is just not that easy,
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's just not. Unfortunately, it's not. But I'd have to throw props to the hitters here and say pitching is easier, just because a lot of people say hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports, and I agree with them.
I think that one of just the hard things for the pitchers, especially like Coop, you got some starts in the fall league and in hiatus this past year. Probably the waiting, I feel like, is the hardest thing to do. Like, if you don't have a good outing, now you got to wait until your next outing, so you have so much time to think about it. Whereas a hitter, bad day, you're right back at it. Then you're right back at it over and over again. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's even the viewpoint too. Like, as a pitcher, they always tell us, like, as you move up, right, mistakes get crushed. But the thing is like, I could throw a fastball down the middle, right? 10 times, right? And more than likely, like, especially if the hitter knows it's coming, they'll have a good chance of putting good wood on it, right? But the thing about it is that more than likely it will not be a 10 out of 10, like 100% chance of you getting a hit. Where for me, like, I could throw, a 95 mile an hour fastball right down the middle, and there is a good chance, like, it could get crushed, but there's also a very good chance that, like, hitter just swings right through it, because it's just how hard baseball is.
Absolutely. So moving on to the would you rather, little in-depth question here, but would you rather achieve all your goals but have no close relationships, or would you rather have great relationships but never achieve your goals? We'll let Kramer kick this one off for us.
I think no goals and have good relationship with people. I just care about people too much. I just can't not, like, be around people, have good relationships. Like, I call you all the time. Like, I could call people and try to get to know them as best I can. Like, I would rather do that than, get my goals done. Because at the end of the day, like, you're only on this earth for so long, and you get to be around, like, people and really enjoy, like, other people's company. And that's, how you usually are known by, like, your relationship with people and how you are as a person, rather than all the things that you can do. You can be a billionaire and be, like, the worst person ever, and everyone's like, well, who cares? So I think that, having a really good relationship with people is just is something that's always been really dear to me in my heart. So.
What do you think about this?
Nah, honestly, I feel the same way. Like, at the end of the day, playing professional baseball is a dream, and I love doing this. But at the drop of a hat, I would give it up for my family and my friends. And I feel like we can all agree with that. Like, we have such a finite amount of time on this planet, and I love playing baseball, but I would love to spend it with my family and my friends. And like I said earlier in the in the podcast, creating just interpersonal relationships with people is far more important in life. And honestly, I feel like this is a question of, how you measure success as an individual. Like, do you measure it from, a ton of accolades, this, that, and the other thing, or do you value it by, happiness and joy? And for me, how I have happiness, how I have joy, it's being spent with, around a fire with my family, or, just going out to dinner with the boys. And those times, those things, you just can't get them back. So definitely that.
Cool.
I agree. I was actually saying this before the podcast, but me and my best friend were literally having this conversation today. Met some really good people out here, and we were talking about the viewpoint of succeeding and having all your goals that you have and all that, but then not being able to communicate and stay in touch with the people that you love. And for me, it's such a kind of an easy thing. For me, is like, even if you get all your goals and you get all the money in the world and all the success and all that type of stuff, I really do think, at the end of the day, when you have all that, it's the people that you like spend time with the most that you remember the most. Like, it's kind of the memories, instead of, like, obviously you have the worldly possessions that, can be great, but I really think the relationships that you make, whether it be with baseball and life in general, are what makes this life so amazing. So for sure, I'm going, having great relationships.
Yep. If you guys were wondering why I have these guys on the podcast, there you go. Great people, obviously, which is why I stayed friends with them, and they crushed it with the answer. It's awesome. Like, they're all simple people, especially Kramer and Knopf. We were talking about this earlier. Knopf's like, I remember, obviously, my fiance and I have been together, godly, coming up 8 years in February. And so she came up, actually flew up and spent time with Knopf and I, and we went out and stuff. And but I would ask Knopf, do you have a girl or something like that? He's like, nah, man, just give me a van and 2 dogs, and I'll be good the rest of my life. Like, that's all I need. Simple man.
I love that you say that, T, because my end game, my end goal, I'm not in it for the money. I want to play this game as long as I possibly can, just because I love baseball. But then after that, I'd be very content and happy being a charter boat captain, and then also being either a catechist or a pastor, just any way I can spread the good word of the Lord and catch some good fish. That's all. I'm a simple man. That's all I want at the end of the day.
I remember the kind of funny story. I didn't really know, like, Catholic tradition, obviously. So Knopf is Catholic. So I remember we're driving to the game. Car, I don't know if it was he was driving me or whatever, but I remember driving, and Knopf goes like this when we pass the cemetery. I look over and I'm thinking, like, I don't know, like, what happened. Did we keep going? Next day he does this again. So I was like, what are you doing? And I don't know what that means, but obviously that's how I found out he was Catholic. And but I think such a good dude, just doing little things like that. Like, think about the people, obviously, who have passed and being a good person. And one more funny story that I have for you guys, and then we'll get into the Bible verse, was Knopf's car was overheating when we were up there in the ECBL. And I remember, like, him almost being late one time. He's like, hey, T, I think you're going to have to come get me. My car's overheating and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, no worries. Stuff. But then it gets back on. And so one day I had to go pick him up, but we left his car in this downtown city called, like, New London. And I think it's just an okay place. Probably not super nice. Probably not the worst, but not a super nice spot. And so obviously, you play the games at 7, you get on the bus, you come back, it's late and stuff like that. Well, we get his car. Knopf's like, just like, kind of stay behind me, stay around me, so that way if it overheats, we can make it back home. He calls me in the middle of it. He's like, T, I don't think my car's going to make it. Like, it's not going to make it. So we're in New London, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, it stops in the middle of the road. So I pull over into, like, this, like, back alley, like, waiting for him. His car's stuck in the middle of the road. It's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's standing out in the road, and all these people, do you remember this, Naf, are just coming by and they're just yelling at you for having your car in the middle of the road.
They were irate at the fact that I was in the middle of the road. I was like, I can genuinely do nothing about this.
Do nothing. And this one person stopped and lit you up. I remember just like, F this, get your effing car out of the road and stuff like that. Naf's like, there's nothing I can do and stuff like that. And they're like, so Naf like gets in to give it one more try while the guy's there yelling at him, and it starts right up. And he goes, and the guy's like,
I'm grateful. I'm grateful I had the kind of guy who would give his shirt off his back for me in that situation, because I was in a tough spot, and I remember being late, and I would not have had a ride home because I think my phone was dying. And Tristan, you were there to help me out, brother, and I'll never forget that. Thank you.
But... yeah, please don't. Okay. So I appreciate that. Obviously that's what summer ball is for. The boys, man, just doing anything. That was the best. If I could go back to play summer ball one more time, I would do it. So we'll Naf's got some COD to play with his brother, so we'll end with this Bible verse here and call it a week. So obviously, we close in Bible verse. We think just faith and incorporating God's super important because, like they were saying, at the end of the day, baseball doesn't mean as much as your family, God. And so we close out with the Bible verse. So today is Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So what you guys, who wants to take this?
Oh, Tristan, this has got to be you, man. This is literally right up your alley.
Take us out, brother.
2 weeks in a row, baby. Come on.
No,
2 weeks in a row.
This is. I mean, you know as well as I do that this verse is perfect for you.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
Obviously, growing up, heart condition. Obviously, we talked about that a little last week. I was super anxious, and they were always telling me, like, obviously, you have super bad anxiety and stuff. I hate plane rides. I had to do them, obviously, for baseball, and, like, I hate them, if you guys don't know. They literally make me feel sick, just the thought of being so high, like, headphones on, blanket overhead, like, sick when we land. They get to play baseball, it's fine. But anyways, so super anxious. And I actually, when I went in for my second heart surgery, this is where I kind of, like, got over that a little bit, just growing a close relationship with God is, like, I love the fact it says, do not be anxious about anything. Like, he knows that you're going to encounter stuff that makes you anxious. Like, you're going to face these trials and tribulations. Like, it's just going to happen. But, like, he's basically saying, like, and when you encounter those situations by being anxious, and it could go for anything else, depression, like, anger, anything else. When you get into those situations, by prayer and petition, like, and thanksgiving, like, just give it all to God. Like, you're going to encounter it. Like, this life is not easy. If it was, like, you know, we'd all be happy, like, doing whatever we want. But, like, just request it to God. Like, just give it to him. Get it off your chest, like, and he's there for you. That's what I think the best thing about it is, like, when you encounter those, like, you have God, and he's there. And if you really, truly do that and give it to him, like, he will calm you. He'll take your anxiety away, your depression, anger, anything. And then, but it's important, obviously, with him. Like, other things can be, like, kind of give us that temporary, you know, fix. But saying, like, in the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your mind and your heart. And this is something I pray every night when I say the prayer, when I had actually learned this verse a while back. Like, even if we can't understand why we're going through something, or things went a certain way that we wish didn't go that way, like, we need to understand that, like, God is, like, guarding our mind and our hearts. So it's not about our will, what we want, where we want to go. It's about God's will and where he's taking you. And he has the biggest purpose for your life than you could ever understand. So it doesn't matter what you go through, what you encounter, like, he will guard your mind and your heart and lead you right where you need to be in life. And it's so funny when people look back, they're like, I'm really glad I went through that. So, and we've obviously gone through, you know, our own little tribulations and stuff like that. And, like, you can relate it back to Naf, where, you know, Naf doesn't get drafted out of Quinnipiac, and then he's like, you know, what the heck? Like, you know, I thought this was the year. And then he goes to UNC and plays great and goes to Omaha and gets drafted. And, like, oh, now you look back and this was the reason. And Coop, you don't get drafted and you sign as a free agent. And, now you're with the Red Sox, and would you look back and like, I'm happy I went through that. I got to start in high A, and then for Kramer, you go to St. John's, and I remember when Kramer and I split out of junior college, and he goes to St. John's, and you're paying a lot for school and stuff, and he gets there, and it's kind of like at the end of the year they split ways, and it's kind of like why? And then he comes to Mount and has fantastic career and all that kind of stuff. So it's just funny looking back, like God's gonna take care of you, man. He's gonna guard your mind and heart, and just keep rolling from there. So
he had to add that one in there, Kramer. Oh yeah.
There were some
Go
false
Johnnies!
There was some false information in that little rant about me, but it's okay. It's all good.
What?
No.
What
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it on the podcast. It's fine, but there was some false information.
No, but that was solid, T. That was solid, T.
So
I think you're right though in that sense though. At least if I look at my life and everything, and even just with baseball in general, and I feel like Knopf can add in on this as well, and Kramer, especially in those moments where probably confidence is low and you're anxious and feeling like, okay, like I gotta succeed, or I gotta do something here, and like I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Definitely, taking a step back, putting faith in the Lord, and letting Him know how you're feeling, and putting trust in there, and everything will usually work out.
So, any closing remarks from Kramer and Knopf here?
I mean, one of my favorite, I don't know if it's in the Bible, but I think it said, as like through AA, it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's part of like my daily prayer routine. And I love it because there's things you can and can't control. And like T getting anxiety on flights, like I completely understand that. Like I get where you're coming from. It's tough. Like you're put in an environment where you can't control it. You're in the air. You have to do it. You have to travel for baseball. If you could drive, you probably would rather doing it that way. But just again, throwing all that to God, and He's willing to take it off your chest and support you through it. It's very reassuring that you have that. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me is also one of my favorite Bible verses.
You good? Sweet. Kramer, anything?
Like, comment, subscribe to Dugout Talk.